Welcome back to another fun and exciting episode on Clark Youngblood. We're going to do things a little bit differently here in terms of our video format. I'm going to do a voiceover here because there was just so much going on and there's so many little details, and it's really an important phase of this project. And I really want to highlight some specific points. We've come a long way. A lot has changed, man. I mean, I'm talking all those appliances are gone. The floor is gone. The cabinetry is gone. The soffits are gone. We've opened up that opening. We've put drywall over top of those crazy ceilings. And there's now new tile on the kitchen floor. And all of the electric has been pulled out. We have all new electric, all new windows. I mean, it just goes on and on and on. So one thing that doesn't change is my approach to laying out the cabinetry. I like to find the highs and the lows of the floor. I like to find the highs and lows of the ceiling. I like to locate the studs. Right there is, I'm not sure what that is, just a big area, so I put a question mark there. The stud finder that I use is a Franklin. It also detects voltage, so it'll give you a little clue when you're by some wires, which is pretty important. It doesn't give you a whole lot of clues if you're by plumbing, so you got to do your research on your structure. So as I go along, I'm going to find the highs and lows of the floor, the ceiling, the studs. If I can get an idea where the electrical is going, that's great. The next thing I try to do, and I'll probably put this in every damn video that I have an installation on a larger kitchen with larger cabinet runs, is I like to put a 6-inch register mark at one end of the cabinetry and another at the other end, connect the two with the laser, and then kind of go through and measure periodically where I think it's going to make sense, like at the start of the cabinetry, the end of the cabinetry, the uppers, lowers, where they start and stop, so on and so forth. And I'll write down on the wall what dimension I find. You know, if it's like 5.5 or 6 3/4, you know, those are red flag numbers. And I'll, you know, it gives me an idea where I need to start. You know, it might give me a clue, like don't start a cabinet there because you're going to fight that the entire time. Just like if you were to start your cabinetry in a low point in the floor, you're going to constantly fight it as that floor rises up. Same exact thing is going to happen on a wall. If it's got a big belly or if it's moving out of the center of the room, if you start there, you're going to fight your cabinetry as you install cabinet to cabinet. So this is just as important as finding the high spot in the floor, which most people know about. Find that dip in the wall or find that belly in the wall. It's seriously important. So you'll notice I put a ledger board on the wall for the upper cabinet. Normally I don't think I've ever installed a kitchen that didn't have a backsplash. So you can put a ledger on there and mount it up there, and it'll hold the cabinets while you run a screw in there and fasten them. One of the other things I really like to pay attention to is from one side of the kitchen to the other. I like to make sure that the bottoms or the base or the sub base is at the same plane from one side to the other. That way the countertops, as you look across them when they're all finished, you look across and they'll line up. I don't know why. I don't know if this bothers other people, but it bothers me to no end to see where, like, maybe one side of your kitchen, that countertop is 1/2 inch or 1/4 inch different than the other countertops. So I go ahead and I'm really meticulous about where I put my sub base. And by the way, in this particular kitchen, since there's going to be so many cabinets, That's 4 legs per cabinet. I knocked them all off, and I just made my own sub bases. I figured in the end it's going to be a lot easier for me. And those legs, they come off rather easy. They're good legs. It's a good system, but I imagine creeping down and leveling the back legs of all of those cabinets was just going to be just labor intensive, and it's just going to be really uncomfortable. So, and it's really not that big of a deal for me in my shop to make some sub bases. So, and going from one side of the kitchen to the other, and like how I'm doing this right here with the laser line, really simple, and that ensures that everything is just deadly accurate, and my countertops line up, which is pretty important to me. Menards, their Klearvue cabinet package, they have pantries, and it's a pretty slick system. They give you the left and right wall. Those are going to be, I believe, at 80, 84, and 90. And then you have a variety of different widths that you can get. You can get like 9, 12, 15, 18, 24, 30, and 36. And then if you want like 6 feet of pantries, you might get 4 18s or 2 36s. But their pantry system is pretty slick. I tried this in my first kitchen with a pantry facing upwards, and they tell you to put it down, face down, onto like cardboard or something. I would recommend. And in this case, on this project, I went ahead, followed the instructions, and didn't just arbitrarily throw them out like I normally do. And if you follow along, they're not complicated. The way that they have you set it up, it does make sense, and you can trust it. I think the only thing I didn't do is use their wood glue on their wood dowels. I just used their wood dowels for alignment because the alignment is perfect. It's machined beautifully and very accurately. But I didn't add the glue, and the glue was junk anyway. It had gotten frozen at some point. It was like they give you the cute little bottle of like Type Bond 2. It's like the blue label Type Bond. So your tall partitions are going to come in one package of 2, and then you get a box with a hardware kit and an Allen wrench. But I swapped out an Allen wrench for these drivers that fit right in your impact driver, and that really speeds things up. And I think it was like 8 millimeters, so it's absolutely worth it if you're going to. If you're going to put one of these together, get that little kit. It'll pay for itself in the first 10 minutes because it's just, oh my God, it just made life so much easier. Each kit, like shelving kit that comes with this pantry, comes with a hardware kit, instructions, and these backs. They have these little receivers that will help you fasten the center shelf, and they just go in the shelf pin holes. You just put them in with a Phillips screwdriver. Of course, I use my trusty Leatherman. The only confusing thing so far that I found with their instructions and this system was the orientation of the backs. They're different sizes, different labeling. They're pretty specific. And I did get confused on this. Some are small, some are long. I was like, shouldn't this line up? Like, where's the seam? It's like in the middle of the field of the back. It just didn't make sense to me. And I'm not sure it was important that it did. I believe that I ended up putting this all together, then taking all of the backs back out because it just didn't make sense how I had laid out the cabinetry for my doors and these pantries. On one side of them, I have 2 of these pantries, and on one side of them I had a pretty sophisticated pull-out system, like a large, 18 inches wide by like almost 4 foot tall. And so it was pretty specific where that center panel with those little receivers had to be. And everything is machined perfectly. The backs are perfectly geometrically correct. But for whatever reason, this part was a little confusing, and I don't recall why, but it seemed like I wanted to take them back out, and there was just a better way to run these backs in here. So you can see I'm kind of standing around wondering. So I did take them all back apart, and I figured that there was a better way. Then they give you these little, it's like reinforcement for when you fasten the cabinet to a wall. And they give you like a handful of, maybe they're 3/4 inch long little, they're like thumbtacks, and you just pound them in. That prevents these little 1/2 inch particle board pieces from, falling down, becoming victims of gravity while you're trying to work this thing onto the wall. But I also, in addition to running these little nails, which I thought were damn near pointless, I ran a couple of brads through the side because you weren't going to see the brads. So I used 1.5 brads and just kind of put 2 in each side in each one. These suction cups, they are the trick, the answer, putting these in place. Because you got to lift this straight up. You can't, how are you going to, how do you do that by your little self? You need a guy on one side and a guy on the other. I have a crew of dwarfs. So what I do is I get this sucker close. I get these about like that at a wee angle. And then I got something to lift from. Cool enough trick. Having suction cups in your kit is worth its weight in gold. My next little trick that I think is helpful is just having a milk crate and, put your cabinet on it, run your pipes in, and then when you get your pipes in there, pull the milk crate out and drop your cabinet down. So that went pretty smooth. These are obviously oversized. I could have went smaller, but I'm going to line this with a sheet and it's going to work out well. The plumber's going to have a hard time with this pipe. It's probably going to be pulled back down and then put back on to extend it up. Hopefully I'm not the plumber, but I probably am. We'll see. This is going to get two large panels. This is going to be a wall panel system. Obviously one here with a control joint right in the center. And they're floor to ceiling. I made a laser line across here, and I just went right in the center and made a mark in the center of that laser line. And then I went in 1 foot increments. So that would be number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4. This is gonna be 4, 3, 2, 1. But around here, obviously there's a beam, but I labeled that 1A, B, and C. Then from that line, I just measure up to, where I'm labeling, where, whatever I'm measuring to. And I'll measure it now to the floor. So I go through, and this is the right panel. I'm gonna grab the right panel, and I'm gonna transfer all of these measurements to that panel, and then install it. And then I can run screws into this, through this cabinet to hold it. But I have nothing over here. This is gonna be like flopping in the wind, like a flightless bird. And so I'll come up with a unique way to fasten that so that it's got some structure to it. So stay safe, stay busy, and stay tuned for the next episode as we start putting the final touches on this kitchen. We're just about done, but there are still plenty of details to go.